Welcome to selfdiscoveryradio.com, where the orchard of wisdom is just ready for picking. We celebrate your why, the journey that you've taken that inspires someone else. We support your services, we support your story. Come and be our guest, become a host, be an author with us. Come and see what we've got. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is Sarah Troy from Sarah's View of Life. Dating. Such a big word, isn't it? Dating at any age can be rather tumultuous, exciting, liberating, terrifying, all of the words you can possibly think of. But dating at 60 plus? This one I have not yet experienced. I tried it at the 50 plus and the 40 plus after I divorced my husband. And I had a relationship with someone for a while in my 50s. And it wasn't something that was serving either one of us on the relationship side of things. We just went back to being good friends, which we were better at being. So dating at 60 plus, or even if you're 50 or 40s, how do you find it? Well, what do we do nowadays to meet people? Some people meet people at church. At least you know you've got something in common. You both go to the same church, maybe for the same reason, and that's nice to hook up with someone who has the same interests. Maybe you belong to a club, then you meet somebody with those same interests that you have. Could be a sporting club, exercise at the gym, maybe something that you're interested in. Other ways people go to meet somebody is through meetups. And a meetup, you're going to a meetup because it is a topic that you are interested in, and maybe you can meet people there. And of course, there is the online, that experience. I did try it, and I put in there my requirements and my distance that I was willing to date somebody, and a little about me, and I got everything opposite to what I wanted. Got people in their wife beaters, that's just the vests that they're wearing, the t-shirts, and millions of miles away, totally no interests whatsoever in common. And so I gave up on that. So how does one meet somebody new? I would love to know. I think I'm at that stage of life where I wouldn't mind having a friend, a companion, somebody where we have interests together. I love going out for dinner and conversation. I love having dinner parties or going to them with your partner and then meeting other people and having great conversation. I love coffee, going for a walk, stop for a coffee, sharing the walk, having a cup of coffee, sharing life, meeting other people around there. People that are social. People that aren't intimidated if you're talking to someone who's the opposite sex. I know there are some men that become very territorial. You belong to them. You can't talk to another man. Yes, I can. I can talk to anybody I want to talk to about anything. And if I have chosen to be with you, that is my choice. If you are insecure, then you are the wrong person for me. I need somebody in their life that's already done that kind of work, that really is ready to embrace a companionship, a partnership, something that we want to do and explore together. We don't have to be living together. I don't need to be ironing his shirts or doing his laundry. We have an independence, but we come together because we choose to. Maybe just dating. Maybe it leads to something else. But for so many men, the sex is the drive. Now, I remember when I was separated and divorcing my husband, how many offers I had from men. Oh, it must have been a long time. Can I service you? No, I go for an oil change for services. I don't need servicing, thank you. If I am going to go and hop into bed with someone, it's got to be somebody that ticks many, many boxes, and servicing is one of them, despite your age, looks, or anything else. It is really kind of quite funny, the approach that men think that when you are divorced or single, that, gosh, you must want some. You want a piece of them. Sorry, no, I don't. If you cannot turn me on intellectually, spiritually, from the heart and the soul, if we can't have that exciting conversation about life, about similar interests, if you don't get all of those juices going. There ain't going to get anything else going either, love. Yes, it's really nice to have somebody that is handsome, but I have known through my life of dating very handsome people that very often they get stuck in their handsomeness. In other words, maintaining it takes more time than it does that they have to give to you. So I don't mind a handsome man if he's handsome and naturally and isn't pruning himself all the time. On the other hand, though, please, cleanliness is next to godliness. Somebody who takes care of themselves is something most certainly that all women do like. We don't want you dripping with sweat and dirt and dirty t-shirts and a house that's a pit, because we're not there to be your housekeeper. So somebody who has certain standards in life is something that we're looking for. I'm looking for. So I can only speak for me, but I think a lot of women I know will be on the same side of this, the same understanding. We're looking for people that we can go and share life with. Go to the theater, the movies, out for dinner, go on holiday together, something we can share. But we're equally as comfortable with not being with each other. Now, what do I mean by that? I want to know that I can be doing my work, and when I'm doing interviewing, I'm immersed in this, and then there's all the admin and the editing and the social mediaing and the bookings and everything else, and pretty good solid 4 days of the week, mostly 5. I am completely immersed in this. I'm tired by the end of the evening, so I really don't have an awful lot of energy to give out to someone else. I've been giving it out all day. But it's nice to come to the weekends when you can have some time with somebody and you rejuvenate each other. You know, it's that thing of lifting each other up, sharing each other's week, having a conversation of the things that we did. And that something is something quite exciting, I think. That doesn't mean to say that I won't meet in the week, I won't do things. I schedule, so therefore I could schedule around things. But somebody most certainly who respects women. No Weinsteins. The Weinstein era is over. The Trump misogynistic, narcissistic era is over. We're not interested in that. I'm sorry. We're not interested in people who are going to demean us, demoralize us, degrade us, treat us like subjects. We're not there. Sorry. And I think you'll find it hard pressed to keep a woman in that way. And if she is, she hasn't yet learned her own liberation, but she will somewhere along the line. You see, a relationship is when two people come together, each in their own presence, their own certain completion, and they complement each other. It's not about, he completes me, he complements you. You bring the best of yourself to the relationship as he does, and you complement each other. You have enough diversity to make it interesting, enough similarities in order to travel the same path. And you are open to adventures and what else is out there. That is complementing. If you can sit in the same room with someone, you're reading a book or you're doing something, they're doing something, and you don't need to be needy with one another. You're just enjoying each other's presence in silence while you're doing something else or doing nothing. It's just nice to know they're there. Or nice to know that you'll have a call later, or a Skype, or a Messenger, WhatsApp, all of that stuff. Social media and all these apparatuses today, the phones, this thing, my God, the things that you can do time, you have FaceTime, this time, that time, and every other time. There is no excuse not to communicate with each other, but you don't always have to be actually in each other's presence, though it's nice to do that. And then when you do, you really do enjoy each other. There's that old-fashioned thing about holding hands. There's something nice about walking down the street holding a hand, or in the car holding hands. That conversation with the eyes of just being able to look at each other and see and feel what each other is thinking sparks a conversation, or sometimes there's no need for conversation. The eyes say it all. Somebody that is really secure in themselves because they have taken their own journey. They've dealt with their own demons. They've got rid of any of those things that held them back in life. They know who they are, why they are, what they're all about, and they know what they want. And that's really, really important. And it's extremely important that you do the same. The other thing is, how do you like or love yourself? Now, that's been a hard journey for me. I have this side of me that loves myself and what I do, and I have this other side of me that still hears the doctrine of society. I remember my actual husband saying to my children once, I'm a man of image. Image is very important to me, and your mother is both too old, too fat for my image. So somebody like that in my life, no, I don't need that. Yes, I am older. Yes, I am rounder and more voluptuous. Yes, I'm slower. And yes, I do have some physical things that slow me down. They haven't crippled me yet, but they do slow me down. And if a man is wanting somebody that is vigorous and healthy, they're going to go, young and toned. They're going to go for the younger woman. And that's, I think, what a lot of men do, especially if they're coming out of a relationship. It does their ego good. It makes them feel good to get into a relationship with some sexy younger woman. Look at me, look what I've got. But I think after a while, the differences start to play on it, and they realize the commonalities, the camaraderie, the cohesiveness isn't there. And sure enough, by the wayside, and they start off with another one. And if they haven't learned, they'll go and find somebody else that's young again. So find somebody who knows what they want and who they are. Somebody who really does like and admire who they are, their own integrity, their own dignity, their own respect towards the world. Somebody who is a contributor generous in their time, in what they do for others, in who they are at the core. You see, if you wish someone to love you, you first have to love yourself. And as I said, that's been a big journey for me in loving me, because I still have those words of never good enough, never this enough, never that enough. And sometimes that's how I see myself, not enough. But I know my heart and my spirit and my soul and my beingness is enough. So why can't my humanness be enough? That is my challenge to constantly face. And just like doing these videos, I was against doing them, just doing podcasts. I preferred the audio, the anonymity of being behind just the recorder. And then I was talked into by Christina Hill, my Channeling Ascension Show's co-host, to do videos. And I resisted for a while. And I remember putting it out there, and then my own words came back to me. If you are turned off by who's speaking, you will never understand the content of what's being said. So I think this whole thing about that it has to be sexy bombshells or this or that to actually speak that you're going to listen to, then you're not ready for the content. And if the content is beautiful enough, if the content is something that your heart and your soul and your spirit needs to hear, that your mind needs to reprogram, you will listen to it from everyone and anyone, and you will not see the age, the this, the that. So why shouldn't you be that when it comes to dating in one another? Yes, we do look at someone and there is that chemistry. He's nice, or she's nice. And that chemistry is something there that will connect you. It's not always what will keep you together. Maybe it's just a romance that you need, and it will burn out, and it was all very good. If it's consenting and you both wanted it, fabulous. If not, then don't get into it in the first place. But you have to understand what it is you do want out of a relationship. I'm looking for that someone that I enjoy the companionship of. Somebody I really do enjoy talking with, enjoy going places with, enjoy doing things with. Somebody I really highly regard and respect for the human being that they are. Obviously, somebody who can accept all my limitations and not make me feel guilty for having them. And somebody that I can share with my friends and my family and not have them look at me sideways. Somebody that they will enjoy too. That is important, because I know what it's like to be isolated in a relationship because other people can't accept the person that you're with. Intimacy, I believe, happens first with the heart, the soul, and the spirit. The engagement of the mind. That is what turns on the sensuality, all your senses waking up. That's when the hand touch can be just as erotic as intercourse, where the little kiss, even on the cheek, the look in the eyes, the intent, the building up to all those wonderful senses, that when you do finally make love, you're truly making love on a very high vibration that means something. It's not about just jumping into bed and wham bang, thank you ma'am, and everybody's left feeling rather flat. Take your time when you meet someone to get to know them, to make love to that spirit, that heart, that soul, to engage their mind. Don't do this because you think this is the way to do it, and then once you've got her into bed, that's it. No. Do this because this is truly something that you want to know. What is her spirit? What is her heart? What does she stand for? What is her soul speaking to her? What is her divine presence? What is her musical instrument that she brings to the orchestra of life? Am I on board with her philosophy? The things that she does as service to humanity, can I be a part of that? Can I be a part of his? There's so many layers there. And no, it doesn't have to be complicated. It's just a question of respecting one another. Be willing to take the time to get to know one another, to delve right into the beautiful levels of what we are. It isn't about sex first. That is something you lead up to, when the sensuality of all those senses are turned on and there is no denying that connection. But if it's the first connection, then I always question that. No, that's not what you really want. And that's not what I really want. That is something that we both earn along the way. It is about, do you see me? Do you hear me? Do you like me? Can you love me for who I am and not what you want me to be? See, as a giver through my life, I've always tried to bend myself into a pretzel to try and be what everybody else wanted to be. And I found that I failed every time. I failed them and I failed me because I wasn't being true to me. And eventually the truth of me would kick me in the butt and have me step into my own presence. In a relationship, you want someone to see your presence, who you are, for what you are, for why you are. You want them to see you and hear you and know you because they want to. That really is that connection. Every single thing you do in life, be it work, school, your children, your family, every single thing is an interaction, is a relationship building. In business today, we say it's not about selling and pitching to one another. It's about building a relationship of trust, of camaraderie, of collaboration, and of being of service to one another. Because when you are, you know that you have a business agreement that is built in longevity, built and rooted and sealed right there, that has a chance to really grow. If it's just about, it's about the money, just make the money, and you're not willing to spend the time to build the relationship, that money will always be something you will chase. But when you build a relationship with anything in life, it is rooted. It has a chance to branch out and grow and extend. Somebody referring someone because they trust that person, because of the work they've done for them, is always much, much better than just going with somebody of the Yellow Pages because they're selling you a deal. Relationships are something that's really, really a challenge for most people, because what is a relationship, and how do we step into it, and how much do we bring of ourselves, and how much do we ask of someone else? And I think it's, my shows are organic. Even what I'm saying to you right now is just blah, coming out of my mouth as I'm speaking it. I'm in my moment. I'm in my presence. I'm just speaking from my heart, not from my mind. My heart is speaking here. And the nervousness of meeting someone, but what if they're this, and what if they're that? Those what ifs need to be taken and thrown over there. Because what if they are actually what you're looking for, but you've what ifed yourself out of it? So how about you just step into the possibilities? You meet someone, and maybe it's not the person for you, but you've got out there and you're meeting somebody. Maybe you're introduced to someone. How many people have introduced people and the connection has been there? Right, look at our Prince Harry. They were introduced, and there we go. Because sometimes your friends know you better. They know the people that will go well with you, or that you should meet. And sometimes you can trust that. Meeting someone that you want to have in your life, that you want to date, or you want an intimate relationship, or maybe it leads to something else. At my stage of life, doesn't need to lead to anything else unless it does. I'm not going to dictate that. Just looking for that wonderful connection, and we'll allow it to be what it needs to be. Do I believe it's out there for me? I believe it is. I have felt the presence of someone. I have felt the presence of who this person is. And I've had this feeling before in another relationship. So I've felt the presence of this person, and it's now just a question of my vibration being out there, the synchronicity of his vibration being out there, and of us connecting. Then one of the things I need to do is get out more, because you don't meet people from home. Well, I do. I meet people all over the world, but they're all over the world. I want somebody in my community. It is difficult to go and meet people, I know. But don't always think that it has to be at a bar or through a dating site. You never know who you're going to meet just walking down the street or at the grocery store, at a coffee shop. As I said, any of these kind of things that you go and do, the gym or this or that, what you've got to do is be prepared to talk to one another. Say hello. Don't do things, what is his agenda? What does he want? Say hello. In authenticity. Hello, how was your day? Be open and be friendly. Remember, they're just as intimidated as you are. They're looking for someone too. And if both of you kind of, well, I don't know, wait for her to say something, or I'm going to wait for him to say something, well, what do I say? How about just hello? Hello. How are you? Comment about the weather, something about the day, something about the situation you're in. Start a conversation. That conversation will show you where you're going to go. We mustn't be afraid to talk with one another, not at, but with one another. Don't come in with an agenda. I am coming in with an expectation, and that expectation is the frequency that I wish to connect on. I'm not going to connect with anyone needy, narcissistic, needing to pull me down to pull themselves up. No, I'm looking for someone who can meet me on this vibration, and maybe together we can take ourselves higher. It's really about having that person who sees you, who hears you, that understands you, and is willing to get to know you. You see, we all work on frequency, on vibrations. Everything is energy. Everything is measured in life. And if we are with somebody on that higher vibration, they're resonating at that frequency, and your frequency is on the same wavelength, then you actually have a chance of really connecting and really taking the ride together and really enjoying one another because you're on the same wavelength. So understanding that vibrational need, trust your gut. When your gut goes, oh, he's very handsome, this and that, there's a trigger. I don't like what he said there, or the way he spoke to that person. Oh no, but he's handsome and he's this and he's that. I'm going to give him a go on that one. If your gut says no, please listen to the no, because it's there for a reason. The gut doesn't lie. That's your soul connection. It's your divine connection. Resonates with the heart, goes to the spirit, speaks to the head. The head knows what it needs to know when it needs to know it. But do trust that gut. See, riding with someone on that same wavelength is really, really exciting. You're in an exploratory nature with one another, but you get each other because of that same wavelength. I may be going this way and they're going that way, but the whole point, we're on the same wavelength. And that means that our communication, the channels are open. That is so important, open channels. We all bring with us history. We've all got something that we're carrying around. And, we've tried to unload our backpack along the way. And to a great extent, we've managed to get rid of a lot of the garbage. But there's going to be triggers. There's going to be something along the line that is said or done that, immediately brings back the past. And instead of going, oh, they're just like my ex, instead of going like that, please would you refrain from doing or saying that. That is a trigger. That reminds me of this situation. And if they love you or care for you, the first thing they're going to say is, I don't want that. I don't want to have that kind of situation for you. I am sorry, won't do that again. You see, if we don't communicate what we want, or what we don't want, if we don't communicate our desires, how are we actually going to know how to treat one another? When you are in your 50s or 60s or plus, we do have a lot of history. And there are going to be some things that we will tolerate and not tolerate. And it is important that we do navigate those waters, and don't get your nose out of joint because they've said, I didn't like that, or you say, I don't like that. It's be willing to have it open on the table. Of course, there's ways of saying it. Not like, I didn't like that. I don't like you anymore. It's understanding the parameters and when that line is being crossed. I find something very, very interesting. We look at some of our actors today, and there's a number of actors out there that are the same age as me. And they're very gray, or maybe they're bald, they're very creviced, wrinkled, but they're deemed as very sexy. When a woman turns gray, this is me, folks, I'm completely silver, or going there. This is me, the face, the wrinkles, the bags, everything going soft, gravity pulling me down, the voluptuousness, everything, it's all me. Okay, I am what I am. I'm turning 64 this year, and I have some physical challenges, and my body is a little on the softer side. But how come I can't be sexy, but a gray-haired wrinkled guy can be? Perception. What are we doing? Why do we embrace the man that is wrinkled and gray and he's sexy, and for a woman it isn't? So ladies, please do not let that intimidate you. Do not let that doctrine, don't take it on. If you feel sexy, sexy comes from within. Sexiness is a state of being. Sexiness is a state of mind, of heart and soul. I can feel frumpish sometimes and heady and as we all do, and there's other times that I can feel very much the woman that I am. And we have to understand there's highs and lows to everything in life. It's not all just one pitch. Frequency doesn't go straight. It's a wave, up and down, and we're going to be in those up and downs. And having a partner that is going to celebrate that with you, and be there nurturing in those down times, off times. Know maybe when to keep the distance and let you have some space, or when you need that hug and that kiss and that attention, and to also celebrate those good times and really enjoy each other. This is what it's about. When you first marry or you first meet someone and you do those vows, it's all about, love and honor each other. But it's about being there through sickness and health. And as we get older, we're going to get more health issues. We're going to get more challenges, and some people more than others. When we are going to meet somebody at this age, we've got to be aware that there could be some health challenges along the way. Now, that doesn't mean we're looking for someone who's going to be our caretaker, or they're looking at you as a caretaker. That is something they have to put into place of their own medical care. But at the same time, we can care and step up and be there for one another and show each other what kind of support we can be. And very often, when you know somebody isn't passing judgment on you, not making you feel guilty for being unwell or not having great health or not being of perfect body or all your faculties maybe not quite there, when somebody doesn't make you feel guilty for that, but just loves you for who you are and why you are, then that changes everything, doesn't it? Because in raising that vibration, suddenly everything about you starts feeling better. Now, I'm not saying that things aren't going to still happen physically, but if you are in a good relationship with someone that really does honor and love you for who you are, then you are going to see that relationship be something that will help your health and make you feel better all around in every part of you. So, the dating game, am I ready for it? I don't know. I think just me doing this show and putting it out that perhaps I am. We'll find out. Who knows who is around the corner, where this person is. I've sent out the vibrational invitational for that person if they wish to connect. And if they have done the same, that at some point I assume that synchronicity is going to happen. And for me, I need to put myself out there more physically in order to meet people. I'm very friendly. I talk to people wherever I go. That is just the nature of me. And hopefully somewhere along the line, there's that person I will meet. But at the same time, If I don't, I'm okay. I'm okay being with me. There's nothing worse than being lonely in a relationship, lonely in a marriage. To feel alone in your marriage because you're not seen, you're not heard, you're not cared for is debilitating. Choosing to be alone with yourself and your own divine presence, being enough for you, is very liberating. I am liberated. I enjoy my own company. I don't need someone else. I just would like somebody else in my life that I can share with. So, here we go. It's out there. The universe has heard it. I've publicly put it out there, okay? Sara's ready for dating. Wonder what will happen. I'm going to ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the mature age, to please, in the comments of these shows, share some good experiences. I don't want the violence. I don't want the sad stories. It turned out to be a serial killer. I don't want those. I would actually like to hear from you, and with permission to actually speak about it on another show, your good experience of how you met somebody that you've got in your life right now. Was it through introduction, a dating site? Did you bump into each other? Was it something really bizarre, out of this world? Please come and share with us, because there are many, many women out there in my age bracket, 40 to 70 to 80, who cares? We're mature, we're on the Bordeaux side of life, the rich brandy, and it is harder to meet people. So if you've got some great tips or great stories of how you met somebody in your life or what you do to meet people, please come and share it right here in the comments here on selfdiscoveryradio.com under Sara's View of Life on the show. Sara's starting to date again, and also here on YouTube. Please come and share those comments, and with permission I would like to actually address some of those comments on another show, because if other people can hear how you did it, maybe that's giving them a few tips on how they can do it. And Lord's no, I need a few tips, folks. I've been single for a very long time. I haven't been on a date in 37 and a half years, because with my last gentleman, we were working together, and then we went into a relationship, then it fell out and back into friendship and working relationship again. We never dated. So I don't know what it's like to date. Do we get dressed up? Is it formal? I mean, what is a date in 2018? I like the old-fashioned way where we can get dressed up and we go out for dinner and really have a nice conversation and get to know each other. But I know dates today take on all different forms. I've not dated in 37 and a half years. Oh, what's it like? Please come and share. Tell me all about it. And also, how to put out those signals that this is a getting to know each other. This is not an invite to jump into bed with each other, because being there, done that, not interested, it doesn't fulfill anything. Let's get to know one another and build up the enrichment and abundance of what we can be, what the possibilities are, where it could take us, explore, take our time, because that is so much more meaningful, isn't it? So, Sara's beginning to date. Well, let's just say she's dating available. Don't even know anybody to date right now. I'm here in Victoria, BC, folks. But I'm open to it. I'm open to it with the right vibrational person. I'm open to meeting people, the people who live in their own integrity, their own divine consciousness, that have something to contribute, and also open to receiving, because when I love deeply. I'd love to know your tips, love to know your stories. Come and share them with me. Let's let the world know that if we choose to meet somebody, and how it can be done, that you meet the right people, the people that serve you on your own beautiful frequency. This is Sara Troy here from Sara's View of Life on selfdiscoveryradio.com, and we'll see what I've got to tell you next time. Bye for now. For more wonderful shows like this, please go to selfdiscoveryradio.com, podcasts, and see our lineup. And if you wish to support us, we have a funded button. Please stay tuned for our next show.